Ready, kids?
Aye, Captain!
I can't hear you!
Ahoy there, mateys. It's time to set sail on another episode of Unconstitutional Awakening, the podcast. I'm your captain, Jimbob Ovalshorts, and tonight we're bringing back a former show guest and show friend, Ashley, who is an energy healer and practices a different kind of energy healing than I think most people are used to hearing. It's from what I gather, it's kind of new and upcoming, and more of the way of the future, as she puts it. Ashley's a super cool cat, man. I met her actually through TikTok, and she's one of those people that hit rock bottom and completely turned her life around and is doing great. And she attests all of it to this Acasma, which is a form of energy healing. And she said it's not like Reiki, like this is something completely different, and it's really cool to talk to her about it. It's been a while since we've been on here, and I guess she's finally graduated to a point where she is hosting her own classes and stuff for it, and doing her own practices with it and whatnot. And I thought it'd be a good time to bring her back on and talk about it, and get a refresher, and maybe introduce you guys to all this kind of stuff. I like going through and doing things on multiple occasions, because you never know when somebody might something might click for somebody. So, but I do have Bandit and Luis joining me this evening, so this should be a pretty fun time. Luis usually misses a lot of our spiritual type energy healing people and stuff, so I think we'll have some good fun with him doing this. But all jokes aside, so anything we do talk about this evening, or we do go to cover, and including Ash and how to get back to her, will always be available at everyone's favorite website on the internet, unconstitutionalawakening.com, your home for everything Jimbob Ovalshorts and the rest of this crazy freedom pirate crew, man. There's always some good stuff going on over there too, man. And all the podcasts and more section, you can join up on the UA socials if you're tired of being banned, and post all the memes you'd like. We don't mind. And then there's all kinds of links to get back to your favorite hosts' social media accounts over there in the host section. And down at the bottom of the page, there's links to find us over on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, man. We've got all kinds of things going on all the time. We're always sharing some memes and trying to continue to make people laugh, man. So you'll go on over there and see if you can find all that good stuff. And while you're over there in the podcast and more section, you can answer your pirate question, your multiple choice pirate question that is at the end of each episode right now, to win yourself some of these sweet new free Unconstitutional Awakening the podcast stickers, man. We're always trying to give something away for free, and we appreciate all you guys out there, so that's why we figured we'd give back, and support for support, man. So thank you all so much for all the support you give, and the best way we can do something is give away some free stuff for it. While you're over there on the website, man, you can also check out links to watch us if all you do is listen, and listen to us if all you do is watch us. You can also listen to us right there on the page, as well as a link to get back to some of that sweet Unconstitutional Awakening merch you guys love so much, man. But get on over there and get you a shirt, a hat, a pillow, a beanie. Like, there's all kinds of cool things going on over there, man. And plus, it all goes to a good cause. It helps keep this show going. So we'd greatly appreciate it for sure. As well as checking out our friends in Liberty, Kirk Elliott, Peachy Key Creations, Ammo Can Survival, Brett Pike with Classical Learner and Homeschools Connected, and Pure Pet Wellness. Each one of these guys have a discount code that is included with each one of these episodes. All you got to do is use that discount code and get yourself something sweet, man. We appreciate it, and I know they appreciate it too, because they're all, alternatives to the status quo that we got going on nowadays. Because, here in Clown World, things just keep getting silly. So, well, I guess enough of this jib jab about me. Let's weigh anchor and go have a good time here with Ash and see where things go this evening. And good evening, everyone. As I was telling you guys this evening on the opening there, we have brought back show friend and previous guest, Miss Ashley Shaddis, and she is here to give us all the good info again on, I'm not even going to try to say it because I said it wrong last time, on your super cool energy healing stuff that you're into that is a little different from some of the other ones that most folks are used to hearing. And I'm always fascinated by this kind of stuff, and I was actually excited to have her back because I met Ashley before we were even doing all of this podcast stuff.
Yeah.
And thought she was a pretty all right person. So I always like having return guests as it is. So how you been?
Good. Really good. Lots of new changes. We moved into a house finally. When I was on last time, I think we're in a hotel. So we're in a house now. So we've lots of transitions.
I think you were on the road filming, actually. I remember you were in the car, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I was.
Just all kinds of good adventures, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you never know where life's going to take you, and sometimes taking them steps into some of these crazy adventures are always some good stuff. So, I would like for you can go ahead and I guess divulge a little bit into your journey and what's brought you to where you are now.
Okay.
Get everybody a little familiar with who you are again.
Okay. Well, my name's Ashley, and I am an Acasma quantum energy facilitator. And so Acasma is a higher dimensional healing modality. It's like people ask if it's Reiki. It's not Reiki. This assists one's being on all levels. It's healing on all levels: mental, physical, spiritual. But the story of how I got into this is I've had a lot of things in my life, that's happened, starting with when I was 17 years old. My 14-year-old brother was murdered. So that kind of started me on, obviously, as anyone could imagine, a rocky road.
Sure.
And so anyways, I've experienced a lot of things in my life, and I finally got to a point where, I think our being, wants us to remember the truth of who we are, right? Because we're born and we're given a name, and we're given a title, and we're given beliefs to follow. And, all of these things are given to us, but that doesn't mean that they're ours. But, it's what we were told to do, and it's what everybody else is doing. So you just follow suit. And so these are programs and things that you're given throughout life. And obviously, as we've talked before, it's done intentionally by people.
Well, sure, sure, absolutely. I mean, I make it a point, that we're, the person you are physically is just, who you kind of are on this go around, at least from like my perspective of it and such like that. The light being driving the meat mech suit has probably been here a time or two or three, or Lord knows how many times for some of us. And, I really do think that we're being born into a country and giving, a religion and a sense of false pride in said place that you were born into, and told that because of this color of your skin, that this is your name, and this, that, and the other. And, none of that, like, it's cool for the ride, but it is honestly a lot of the least important things that there is.
Right.
I'm one of those guys that we're all human beings, and we're all here on Earth, and we should really just do better, like just in general.
I agree. I completely agree. That's good point. Good point. Because we are eternal beings. We are a piece of source, God, whatever you want to call it, experiencing this now as this, we're all connected. We're all just experiencing everything there is to experience. And but we've all been told that we're separate, that we, that this is a separate thing, and that's not true. So Acasma really is helping one remember that and remember the truth of who they are and dropping all this old programming and stuff.
So can you give me a little
So, yeah.
background on like Acasma itself?
Yes. So my teacher, my mentor, my friend, her name's A.L. Garris, and she's on YouTube. She's on TikTok. She's very easy to find. In fact, this is her book she just came out with on, it's on Amazon, but it's called AQE Foundations. And this is essentially a book that she wrote just talking about Acasma and the history of it. And it even has like the information that's in the 3 courses that she offers that I've taken to become a facilitator. Mm-hmm. And so it's got all the information in there, but she's the founder essentially of Acasma, and it came about in 2020. And it's just something she's followed her inner knowing on, and has come, to assist humanity at this time to remember who they are and to help, raise the vibration of the earth, essentially. She does once a month, she holds on the last Saturday of every month, she holds a healing grid for the planet. And there's people all over the world that come, together on Zoom or either by video. She does it on Zoom live, and then it's on YouTube later. But it's where we all come together collectively to just, hold space and session for, healing the planet, which is really cool way to connect there.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, no doubt in my mind there when it comes to that. So, so I guess my next question would be is when it would be more gathered towards you, and I guess what you do in the aspect of this, what you offer in the healing aspect of things.
So Acasma is all about remembering who you are. Okay. So in a session with me, if you were looking to expand or want to heal, or, there's a lot of different reasons why one, may find their way to Acasma or to this kind of healing energy work. We're all essentially energy. So what I do is I facilitate a connection between a higher vibration that one is trying to connect with. And the way that I do mine is consciousness to consciousness. So it's not done on Zoom or anything like that. We connect solely in the quantum. I send you a music link, and we, facilitate a time and day or whatever. And then the person just listens to the music and lays down and relaxes. And a lot of people fall asleep. Some people will, see colors. Some people will have twitches, jolts. There's all different things that may happen, but I'm doing the session portion on my end, and I take notes, and then I send notes after the session to the person. And I just let them know any intuitive insights that I have. Sometimes, we'll see their team of light, we'll experience or get insight about, whether they're doing clearing for family lines with different things. There's lots of different things that can happen, but it meets you right where you're at. So it doesn't matter where in your spiritual journey you are. It meets you right where you're at, and just gently helps activate a remembrance in you and align you with the vibration you want to go in to manifest the life that you want.
You seem nervous.
I am a little sorry.
There's really no need to do it. The only person that bites here is Luis, and I think he's furthest away from all of us.
I've been anxious for an hour, just because talking like this can be a little nerve-wracking for me sometimes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I see nothing, nothing wrong with it. It's ways to, kind of speak on what you're working with and stuff, because I know a lot of people are into different forms of things like this. I had a medium on here recently, that she practices her own ways of things. I as I tell a lot of people, I'm married to a witch, so she has her way of doing things too, and I've found a common ground between all of this, in a lot of different ways from a lot of different people. Even I think another fellow that you met in the past that's been on again here recently, my friend Jody. He's into awesome energy healing type stuff too, and his of course has a different name as well. But like I see a general theme that comes along with a lot of this stuff, and a lot of it has to do with frequency and vibration and stuff. And I know that's something me and Louise can get behind 100% because we're both on the realm of everything is definitely energy. Like there's no doubt in my mind at least. There, I guess I'm not really going to speak for Louise, but I've heard him a few times on here. When we talk about stuff like this, because there's just so many weird. I guess you can call it like ancient looking tech type things that kind of tie back to looking like there was a closer sense to a tie to the energy realm around us at one time than there is now. I do apologize, Bandit. His computer did his thing. He is coming back. He just kind of vanished for a minute.
Oh.
You look like you're going to say something, Luis.
Oh, yes. As you see life and everything that creates us, how do you see frequencies playing a role in all of this connection?
Okay, so everything, if everything's energy, so there's low frequencies and higher frequencies, and you could even almost compare it to like for people who believe in heaven and hell, the higher frequencies for me are heaven and the lower frequencies are hell. But it's raising your frequency and being more in tune with the universe and with yourself that helps you to, once you realize that you can create your own life and that you're only here to heal yourself. Like nobody can come save you. You have to save yourself. So raising your frequency, I don't know if I'm answering your question right.
Well, it's part of it. It's just we have to figure out how to better translate these messages to everybody else that doesn't see that good and evil is sometimes even subjective, which is something hard to contemplate because the construct of our society is based off rules and regulations that are simply made by man and not made by universal laws. And to decipher what is a universal law and what defines our energies and what defines what's higher and what's lower, that's really the mystery of the true definition.
I see. So the higher frequency, obvious for me, like source, God, that's love. Love love is the highest frequency. So no, I guess to decipher between the frequencies, where is your thoughts or your actions or your words coming from? Is it coming from a place of fear because of a rule or because of, whatever the reason is, or is it coming from a place of love? So,
well, in a roundabout way, where I kind of go with this aspect of it, like you're kind of speaking on, Luis, about being the society of a construct of like rules and stuff like that. The person that's stealing the loaf of bread is frowned upon and treated as a criminal, but like, why are they stealing that loaf of bread? They're probably hungry. You know what I mean? And like it's a one of those. I get the subjective aspect of it. I'm just the kind of guy I'm definitely the guy that's like, if you see somebody stealing food from Walmart, no, you didn't.
Not food.
Like, you know what I mean? Like I just
now, if he's walking with a 50-inch screen TV, then you can judge him.
Sure, then you can say something. But I mean, if they're getting some Pop-Tarts because they're hungry, you're like,
yeah.
I mean, it's just it's a shame that society has been constructed in such a way to disconnect us from all that. And I for one think that there was more a connection to the vibration and more a connection to self in these ancient times. Like there's a million different ideas on how they built some of those mega structures like pyramids and stuff like that all over the world. And I'm I'm pretty leaned into a frequency kind of thing where they use sound and stuff like that to have
Mm-hmm.
possibly moved all that. And to me, this is kind of the same aspect of it. You know, they used to use sound to heal before. I know another young lady that uses sound to heal things, and it's, you know, I really think that it's there. You know, there's something definitely to all of it, regardless of the way you want to come into it. You know, there's certain frequencies definitely have healing properties and can make a difference, I think, in your everyday life, whether it's in meditation or even if it's what you choose to listen to, you know, like throughout your day or whatever.
Absolutely. Sound is can have very healing. I mean, the words you say, I mean, in Acasma, so a lot of us will speak like light languages. I'm actually in a course right now. It's to be an Acasma galactic shaman. And so what I'm learning right now, we're doing like ceremonies. And so we have a drum that we use a lot. Sometimes, you know, if we feel to sing, we sing. So we definitely are utilizing sound in those ways with Acasma too. So
I mean that that's actually super interesting to see how I guess in the way that you're kind of advancing it or the way that you guys look at this. You know, have you ever had any trouble with people giving you you know, the I've run into this similarity with a lot of different people and their different energy healing aspects, like outside groups or other groups or people that judge this kind of stuff automatically start throwing like the idea of cultish type behavior and stuff like that. Have you had to deal with any of that kind of nonsense?
Um, honestly, not terribly. Now, yes, like from like my own family, and
Sure.
I know, and some of like my you know my we call ourselves a family of light. So my sisters of light or whatever, you know, will say that they've heard similar things. You know when you first tell your family, like because Andrea A.L. Garris, she holds like destination events in Destin and Sedona and stuff, and I've been to several, and so you know you tell your family you're going on this trip with these people and they're like, I mean, are you gonna come back? Are you sure? This sounds like a you know what I'm saying? So we've all heard it a time or two, but it really hasn't been like this prevalent thing for any of us that we've heard, honestly. And I think it's because it's of such a higher frequency that I think that people that have those kinds of opinions and stuff aren't even really aware of us, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like their frequency is just not even, you know, I feel like the people that find Acasma and find us are obviously in search of truth. And so they're, you know, they have a connection where some people don't. And fortunately, you know, that hasn't been too much of an issue.
You know, I'm going to try to lighten the mood for you here a little bit. So here's just a random off the wall question for you. Do you think frogs have ears?
I have no idea, but that's a good question.
Um, I mean, of all the critters out there, you know, they're definitely a vibrational type creature. You know,
Yeah.
living in the South, you know, we get serenaded by bullfrogs on the regular. You know, that's
Oh,
just
yeah.
it's a common thing around here. I'm not sure if Luis is even familiar with what that is or how
Well,
that is, but
I know. Well, in Puerto Rico, we have one that specifically has a song that when a lot of Puerto Ricans went to Hawaii, so decades ago. So now even Hawaii has a native population of cookies, which if you let me share screen, I can show you how it sounds, which is very
absolutely.
distinct. So let me see. If my computer doesn't
And
fail, hopefully my
I
computer doesn't fail because
am
Zoom broke. So that's fun.
where did okay, yeah.
Can you hear it?
I do.
So that frog is about the size of a quarter. That sound is really loud, absurdly loud. Basically, the equivalent to almost.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
You there?
So see that this is what I mean. It just crashed. Zoom. I'm gonna uninstall it and reinstall it in the future because Zoom's broken.
Yeah, man. Zoom's been acting up for a little while here now, like recently, ever since that latest update. Like, I'm not even sure
It's
what to
Zoom.
think of it.
It's not my computer. My computer can run a lot of things, and Zoom, I do share screen, boom, it crashes. So yeah, that's why I wanted to mention that song. You go to Puerto Rico, you'll hear it like you hear crickets in different places. Where there, it's that song. It's a distinct thing people identify with.
Well, I mean, it's down here in, I guess this is again down here in the South. Like, if you if you're an outdoor person like myself, you're sitting on the back porch and you've got a constant serenade of different kinds of tree frogs, different kinds of bullfrogs. You've got, you got your crickets going on in the background like that. You've got different kinds of birds and bats and stuff that are even out at night, and on top of the rustling of armadillos and such like that. And you you never really have a dull moment. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a moment that there isn't a sound, but it's almost like the sounds that they're out there playing are like a calming, intended to help put you to sleep kind of ordeal, like a white noise kind of deal. I know a lot of people that can't sleep without a fan, or can't sleep without Beethoven playing in the background, or can't sleep without something going on. And it's almost like nature's noise. Like, I love the springtime around here because doors and windows and such open at night, and just get to listen to it all while you're in there laying down. I recommend having screens because those will come right in the door with you without even trying.
Yes, they will.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, they're worse down in your end. I know you're further south than I am, so the bugs just keep getting bigger the more you go south. So
yeah, it's crazy. Like, my first year down here, like, there was a period of time, I guess over the summer, where like the love bugs were everywhere. Like, I mean, you'd be swarmed by them, and like, it was insane. Like, my car was so covered in dead bugs. And yeah, there's different bugs down here for sure.
I saw that once, and I'm like, I never want to be around when the love bugs come out.
Oh, it's awful.
Just tell me about it afterwards. I'll come back to my house and be like, oh, great. Who can clean this? I don't even want to see this mess.
I had no idea. I had no idea. So when I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? And it, like, for weeks, it was like that. And then it finally went away. It was the wildest thing I'd ever seen when it came to bugs like that.
So I guess in all of this, like, energy healing and sound type stuff and whatnot, what would your experience or advice be in like a purge situation? I guess, I mean, I don't mean like a violent murdering purge situation. I mean, like, when your system is purging out, because I'm assuming that you had toxic stuff inside of you that purged out during trying this healing process and whatnot. And I've heard of things like this in a lot of other energy healing realms and stuff that people are like, oh, I felt terrible after that. And as somebody who understands it, I'm just like, well, that's kind of the point. It's kind of getting it out of your system.
So when I first got involved with Acasma, before I was a facilitator, I remember I think the first thing I did was I just went to one of the healing grids that she holds once a month. And I remember, like, crying and, like, physically shaking, and then afterwards having, like, a very bad headache and feeling sick and, like, crying for a long time afterwards. And I was, like, so confused by it. Like, this is supposed to be positive. Why am I, like, physically reacting this way? But the more that I, learned and got to understood how energy works, it's your body's way of, like, trying to clear that energy out. You've got all this stagnant, energy that you've been holding from past traumas, or, this or that. And the more that you start to listen to yourself and go within and kind of deprogram all this crap that you've been told. Your body, has to move that energy now. You're not just stagnant anymore.
I've made mention of like this before. When you have stuff like that, that stagnant, I guess the way that you're putting it, when you have like that in your realm or in your own energy, or you're that negative person that is always looking for the negative reason of the day or the negativity, that stuff definitely takes a toll, not only on you mentally, but like it really does take a toll on people physically. Like I have seen people like visually go from looking their age to suddenly looking 20 years older because of just the toxicity that they are putting themselves through. And
yeah.
It can physically manifest itself. Just living a negative life. If you have a toxic household, if you have a toxic, everything about you is negative. Mm-hmm. If you're always looking for the bad in the situation, if you're living constantly screaming at the sky for no reason at all, it can physically take a toll on your body.
Absolutely.
Jimmy and I have both seen it. Mm-hmm. Both seen it.
And I think that some of the best medicine for situations like that is to just look at Clown World, and because you can't help but honk at it half the time, because I don't know, there's a lot of things that I see. Being like a history buff and being into the parapolitics end of things and the paranormal end of things, like I have seen people for a good chunk of my life talk about how, the end of the world, the end of the world, mm-hmm. the end of the world. When you look through history, you see people that are always like, the end of the world, the end of the world. And I'm just like, shut up. Like, right. It's not going to stop. Like we're here. It is what it is. And we need to figure out how to make it better instead of looking at, pointing and screaming at the black cloud, like Bandit just said.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Bring attention to atrocities that exist and that are being plagued upon mankind. But like, I don't know. We need to not doom and gloom and sensationalize, I think, on a constant basis. I'm guilty of it sometimes too. But I think mine's more of a troll a lot of the time. Like if I'm going a little over the top, like you might want to look at what it is. It might be me trying to convince everybody that I'm picking coyotes up off the side of the road and trying to save them. Like it's just, you never know with me.
Wait a minute. You really did that? Or was that just like,
no,
you really
dude,
did that? Or was that just a pic you found on the internet?
No, it's just pics I found on the internet. But our good buddy.
Okay, because I would know.
He picked up a coyote.
I thought for a second, but then I realized you aren't that.
Our good buddy Steven. Our good buddy Steven is convinced.
I don't know.
Our good buddy Steven is convinced that I have a stuffed coyote and that I'm taking it places to take pictures with it. And I'm just like, no, I'm really just finding these pictures and making stories with it because it's funny. Like, again, this is like on the Facebook thing. You see the doom and gloom. Like, that's why if you ever come to my page, I promise you're going to laugh. Like, you might get offended or you might go, holy crap, what is this guy sharing? But like, I'm at least I guarantee you, I'm going to make you laugh. And that's, I think that's
the best. Sometimes that is the best medicine.
That's really the most important vibration I think there is laughter.
Absolutely.
I want to vouch for that because, being prior military, I think that is one of the things that I have learned to do in situations that other people would look at and go, yikes, dude, what? And I'm laughing at it. And it really is. It sometimes is it's a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
To like the negativity of the world is to just laugh. It's to laugh at it, because it really does. Humor does amazing things for amazing things for you, really. I mean, if you can't laugh even just sometimes at what's going on in the clown world right now, I mean, there's no hope for you. Really,
That's
is no
so
hope for you.
true. I agree with that so much. Like that's my boyfriend and I. So we were like best friends in high school. Okay, so 20 years ago, we were best friends in high school. We were never in a relationship or anything, but we were best friends. And the reason that we got along so well is because he was like the class clown and always making everybody laugh. And that was like my thing. Like I love to laugh. So now here we are, 20 years later.
Men who can make women laugh are dangerous. Like, there's,
yes.
I've heard that from a lot of women out there is that, you always wonder why that goofy looking dude ended up with that chick. It's because he makes her laugh. Like that's 9 times out of 10. It's because that's why this little gremlin here has, the smoking hot woman that he does is because he's good at making her laugh. And it's
those are some points gained.
And I mean, laughter is important. It really is. And
yeah.
So I imagine like how many people have you like personally worked with here since you've, I guess, graduated or become the leader type person? Like, have you done any work that you want to toot your own horn on?
I've mainly just worked with like family and friends and stuff. I haven't really, because of the moving and the, transitioning from Georgia to Florida, happening so shortly after I graduated. I've really, just put my like self out there to work publicly. But I've definitely seen this work, with, friends and family that I've worked with. I've seen huge things happen. I don't want to get into too many details because the business is not mine to share, but I definitely can see change in these people. I can see positivity, and it ripples out, somebody, I may do a session for a family member or a friend and not for somebody else that maybe they're having a relationship issue with, but when you start to change, it ripples out. It's going to affect somebody one way or another, and it's very evident in their lives. So,
well, the whole idea of the butterfly effect. I mean, and I mean, not so much as like affecting the entire world, but I mean, just the slightest change can, do wonders for just yourself. Whether it be setting your alarm 15 minutes earlier, you know what I'm saying? Or, making sure that you've got those 10 minutes to yourself that day to whether it's meditation or just collecting your thoughts or however you do it. I'm a firm believer in saying that there's no wrong way to meditate. Like there's a million different ways you can go about it and a million different ways that it works for a million different people. And
okay, I got to jump in here real quick because anytime in a conversation like this, anytime I get a chance to like be knowledgeable about this, because it's like, it's not my strong suit, I got to jump in. Well, no, you're so right about meditation being like there it's such a broad thing, because I am getting ready to kick back into garden mode. Okay.
Oh yeah.
That is probably one of the most peaceful things to do in my book is to just, grow a garden and spend some time outside, just managing plants, watching them grow.
Yeah, it's very grounding. It's very good for your soul.
Because they actually say like tending the dirt and like moving dirt around and being in a garden, there's a chemical reaction that takes place that it's like it ups your dose of serotonin. Because I've been doing it for a few years now, and during the wintertime and fall, when my garden is starting to die off or is dead, I'm a totally different person. I have to find something else, like in late fall and the winter. I have to find something else to like occupy my time.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it
I mean,
really is.
being
It's like no, go ahead.
Oh, no, you okay. I was
It's
just
like
going to say being outside is like, it's very grounding, and the transfer of energy between your body and the earth. It's a real thing in seconds. There's this transfer of energy. So that's very,
Well, I mean,
You can
it's
see a lot of
it's easier for
you
like
can see
you
a
and I
lot.
because it's warm, most of the year for me and you.
Yeah. You can see a drastic, like, people that have like a hobby that they are like dedicated to, like woodworking, painting, any type of artistic ability, or just if you have a hobby you're dedicated to, it's like you can see that like people will be like in tune with themselves while they're in that hobby. Especially people that are diehard, like, yeah, exactly. Luis with photography, man. It's like, but probably one of the most drastic ones is watching people do woodworking, whether that be on a lathe or building furniture or sanding furniture or shaping wood or stone or watching somebody do pottery. That is some of the most, you can just see it in their face. It is a form of
Fun.
meditation and
Extremely
calming to them.
expensive.
Watching chickens is a form of meditation, bro.
It
Like,
is.
it is
Well,
so
that
relaxing.
too. Yeah.
I
You
love to
chi-
watch
you
people
chicken
dance.
Okay.
Different types of dance, I think, is to me so therapeutic.
I went to a performance of Cats about a week or two ago,
You torture yourself into
and
that?
and that was very like therapeutic. It really was, because just watching like the talent, but it really is. It's like you can just like it's like a form of meditation watching stuff
Yeah.
like that, as long as you sit there and you can appreciate it for what it really
Mhm.
is. It really is.
Absolutely.
It's soothing.
I want to see the Beetlejuice like musical that they have now. I think that'd be pretty awesome to check out.
Say what?
There's a
I haven't heard that.
It's up there on Broadway near Louise, but there's a Beetlejuice musical.
Wow.
Well,
I bet that'd be
that's-
very interesting.
but it doesn't have Michael Keaton, so I don't know what to say.
Yeah, there's no
The guy,
yeah.
the guy that
Michael Keaton.
so
nothing-
I've listened to the album that come off of it because it's a musical, obviously, and like the album itself is pretty awesome, pretty jammy. So like I'd be excited to actually check it out. Like the guy that they got playing it, like he's Michael Keaton approved. So because Michael Keaton's even gone and seen the show.
Oh, he commented on the show.
He has. So that's the only reason that I even found out about it, was because of like some write-up where he had commented on it and said that he enjoyed it. So I was like, well, let me go check this out and find it online, because you can find it on YouTube. But
If Michael Keaton approves it, that others should be like, okay, it might be good enough.
so
He's a good actor. He knows his shit.
I figure it was it was worth a check out, and I checked it out on YouTube. And
Because there is only one Beetlejuice. Not counting the mayor of Chicago.
Well, yeah.
Oh no,
But-
she is one of those shrunken heads that was in the lobby.
Yeah,
her. She just
no.
escaped the
Well-
lobby and came to Earth to torture the people of Chicago.
I mean,
I know you've been on the show before, Ashley, but welcome.
Thank you.
I don't. I think the last time she was here, she had to get on to defensive mode because we had some of that negative energy going on. Somebody was being
Oh man.
and I
Well,
had
it wasn't so much defensive. It was just trying to bring
Explain
balance
things.
to
Yeah.
it, I
Mhm.
guess.
I mean, but back to Beetlejuice that we were talking about there. When you tap on the fish tank there, it's always something good to go on about.
But hey, Ashley, I really got to ask you. Like, we've had other people on the show, and I wanted to ask your opinion. Like, just the last few years, have you not noticed like a heightened a heightened amount of just negativity.
Yeah, you know, I really do. I see a lot. I see so much. Like you can't scroll through TikTok without, seeing like all these Karens and they're like freaking out and screaming at people. It's like, what in the world is
That also is your
into
algorithm.
people?
I would say that's your
Well,
algorithm.
yeah,
I've
true.
noticed
Much
it.
of- a lot of that.
Well, yeah, but
I've noticed
the
it
point
just
is
being out in
people are out
public in
there.
general. Yeah. And I've noticed it just out in public in general, like the amount
Oh
of just
yeah.
negativity and just like
It's
the
the
amount of
pressure.
just negative people out there now. I think it's just increased dramatically over the last few years because like
Well, that's what
Ever since
inequality
COVID,
causes.
yeah.
they're pitting everybody against each
Way the
other,
flu.
and it's just raising that negativity levels out in public. And it's like everybody always asks me, why do you not go out in public anymore very much? And I'm like, have you looked outside lately?
Right?
You know,
Yeah.
this
I agree.
is my fortress of solitude right here. My home. This is my fortress of solitude. You know, it's
I agree. I don't like to go out into public too much either. But
not
I will
anymore.
say, no.
It used to be
yeah.
different 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But I just feel as of recently, it's like the amount of negativity out in public is just like it's so thick. You can feel it.
Yeah. I mean, I live in an area that's still kind of, it never really went sideways like it did in places like New York City or whatever when it came to everybody being too over the top and stuff. As far like I never stopped working, I never stopped living life, I never put a mask on, stuff like that. But like we still have those even today, a few stragglers. And I live out in bumfuck now, and like I'll go.
I saw him today.
I'll go walking into Angles,
today,
and I'll see a straggler or two with a mask on, and like I'm not trying to be that asshole, but I totally snicker because I'm just like, really, are you still at this point like running around like that?
I'll give it. There's a few that are just genuinely sick.
Sure.
So the genuinely sick ones, you can wear the mask. There's no issue.
Sure.
But it's not. Like I go on the train and it's
like, but before it was cool to wear a mask, like I had to walk around with a mask for a few weeks because I had my face ripped in half by a Rottweiler and they had to stitch it up. So, when that was done, I had an open wound on my face. So yeah, I walked around with a mask on my face for a couple weeks. But that's a totally different story. But in itself, it's wild to see.
So have you
the
seen
fear
now
is real for some people?
Where Mayor Adams has specifically said you're not allowed to wear masks in the stores anymore because of the elevated spike in crime because of mask wearing.
Wow.
Yeah, they set up a request. Hey, to all businesses, put up signs that say "remove mask" on entry, so the cameras can record you, so they can see what's happening. So the crime is skyrocketing, and at the rate it's going, we're gonna be at the same murder rate that New York was in the 80s, then 70s, then so it. I mean, when the crash happens, New York's values are gonna drop like a rock,
and this is why you need to escape, bro.
Well, yes, but I need to escape for bigger reasons than the real estate market.
Or else Luis is going to be sitting there looking all like,
I'm in danger.
That's
the soundboard is working. Good.
I'm glad you guys approved. I thought it would spice things up a little bit and add a little bit more fun to the show. But we've been messing around with a lot of things like that, like my random question board that I have found. Like, has anybody here ever collected the stickers that are on the fruit?
Clicked?
What?
I have. I did a while ago.
So you collected the stickers that were on fruit?
Yeah, that were on fruit. Yeah, I did. Yep, I would stick it to the side of the fridge.
Nice.
Then you
Yeah.
get like a message of every single country around the world you've eaten from.
I didn't look
Get
at
a
it like
record
that.
of
It was just
everybody.
like
And then you get the Nicaraguan bananas, and you remember, Chiquita, revolution, coup d'etat.
the banana. Yeah, the banana. You're not supposed to say that. You're not supposed to mention that Chiquita overthrew a government.
No, this is actually a fact. You know, what was it?
They convinced the U.S. government basically to help them.
To help them overthrow a government.
They had private
lobbied
militia, and then
because they were losing money on all of these bananas or whatever that they weren't getting, and they went after. There was a whole coup about it. I actually watched like a 35-minute documentary about this 2 days ago,
and not the chicken kind,
just for shits and grins. Like I didn't even
not the
caught
chicken
my
coop
interest.
kind.
Well, the good news is we're gonna get the old bananas back.
You really think the old bananas are coming back?
Yes, because
Yes.
they can't really grow them because of the fungus. But guess what?
Yeah.
The new Keanu Reeves based fungus killer might be the solution. It's named after Keanu Reeves, a new fungus killer
Wow.
that's like super effective. It could be revolutionary for protecting crops because that was the problem. A fungus basically kills the crop. It starts growing and eventually just the crop dies because they get infected. So that's why they can't do it. And bananas, you got to grow them outdoors. You can't grow them indoors. There's no way to do it. It's just
And another interesting fact about bananas, they're not really trees.
No.
The banana tree? I would call it.
Yeah, it's not a tree. It's a plant, and the bananas are the berries.
I guess it's just big. It's a
Banana
big
is a
plant,
berry.
No,
though.
seriously, it's not a tree. It's not a
No,
tree.
no,
It's a
you're
plant.
right.
It's a giant plant,
It's a giant
and the
plant.
bananas are the berries.
Because when I'm telling giants, like it's 12 feet tall, 12 feet tall.
Mhm.
But you're right, because tree generally is defined by like it has a trunk and it has rings. So technically, some palm trees are not trees.
Very interesting facts.
I just know that a banana is definitely a berry. And that
and a tomato is a fruit.
And that a cucumber
Mhm.
and a watermelon are cousins.
I could see that.
We share half our DNA with bananas.
Wow.
50, about 50. And we share 70% of our DNA with a fruit fly and then 99% with a chimpanzee.
Wow.
So I am just the Mothman.
You really are, like, regardless of the subject of the episode, you are always going to learn something new that has nothing to do with the original subject of the
I love
podcast.
it.
That does happen.
But see, that's another thing. That's another thing that, you know, is to just open, like, that can be good.
Where else are you going to hear about? Where else are you going to hear about
levels? Yeah.
Where else are you going to where else are you going to talk to somebody that talks to Bigfoot, followed by somebody that wants to overthrow the government, followed by somebody that wants to heal you with energy and vibration? Like, you never know where these conversations are going to go and who's going to be on next. Like, that's just, I think that's the joy of these conversations and why I like having such a variety of people, because there's so much to learn from everyone.
I think
I love it.
It's good for your, it's good for your, it's just good for your mind, to just be open to all these things that are being
Absolutely
discussed, narrow-mindedness, it's just not going to get you far.
It's not the thing.
So have you guys practiced with sound baths, and what's your opinion on that type of healing ideology of using?
I don't know that I've heard a sound bath.
Well, basically, there's different ways they do it, but you are basically drenched in sound. It's similar to, you could say, like frequency healing, but it's like a large scale with other people and so on. But I think there is a benefit to certain frequencies, and they discovered
Like
recently that
bells.
kill. Yeah, I don't know about the. I find it interesting, but at the same time, like we have recordings of most of those bells before they were destroyed, and there wasn't any uniqueness to the majority of them. But I'm sure there
What
was
about
some
the
that were.
It's
what about the
not.
cathedrals they were in?
Yeah, it's not the recording of the bell. It was the actual bell because a recording of a sound can be manipulated.
Mm.
Ooh, I like that. You're right though, because that's like if you look really hard, this is one of those conspiracy type things, but it's one of those things that I've brought up in the past, and that you can actually look up and see it's true. Is that they changed the radio frequency. The hertz fleets my head at the moment, but they brought it up to more of a chaotic frequency instead of like a calming type frequency. And if you look really hard, there are some amazing people out there that will go through and change songs down to a
43 point. I forgot the number, but
I think it's a
everything's at
432.
44,
Yeah.
and then they switch it back to 43.
They turn it back to, I think it's like 43.2. And there's people like
Yeah.
I find some there's I have
There's
found
lots of artists
copies.
that now do that. I have a few friends that they tuned all of their music into that.
Yeah. I was
They
about to
told
say
me.
I've found copies of some of even my favorite songs and stuff like that, like that have been tuned down to that 43.2 hertz. And like, there's something to that. There's something to different levels of frequency too. Like there used to be like frequency like chambers and stuff in some of these old like temples and monuments and stuff like that people would sit in and heal. And like as far as the bells, like you were saying, Luis, like I, I kind of agree in a way with what Bandit's saying as far as like it was the bell itself, but I think that the cathedral like that the bell was in, like I think that it was built in such an architectural way that it helped amplify these sounds. It's the same with like the pyramids and stuff like that. I've heard people say time and time again, I've not been myself, one day I hope to go, but people that have been to the pyramids, it's a common thing to hear that people that walk into that center corridor say that they can feel the energy in that place, like it's almost like electricity around them.
And I just watched a Joe Rogan interview of a guy that had been in the pyramids, like up the central corridor of the pyramids, and that thing is, he said that thing is like alive. You can like feel like the hum of electricity. Like you can feel it, not the electricity itself. You can feel the hum within the wall,
the vibration.
Yep, the vibration, like whatever it is. But I saw a weird thing anyway. Like they have found the central chamber. What they're saying is, speaking of that, another interesting thing is the sarcophagus they have found in the central chamber. Like it's not, they said it's not a sarcophagus. Well, they fight about it internally, but it is the exact dimensions of the Ark of the Covenant.
Interesting.
Yep. Because if you see like a sarcophagus, like what like a pharaoh would have been buried in, that thing is like 10, 12 feet long, and it weighs thousands of pounds. And this thing is like, I mean, a 6-foot person wouldn't be able to fit in it, is what they're saying. It's a sarcophagus. A 6-foot person wouldn't have been able to fit into it. So it's crazy like that, though. But they say like the water, like at the time the pyramids were built, the water in the Nile was, they say it was, it had electrical properties, and they say the way what would have been the air shafts that run up the internal structure of the Great Pyramid, like the water levels of the Nile at the time, the water would have been able to, the water was actually close enough that it would have moved up into the pyramid. It really is. It's like Joe Rogan's got a podcast episode on it. It is,
that's cool.
It's worth checking out.
So Ashley, is there like any other, I don't know, like good experiences you might want to share that, since you've done all this or whatever with everybody out there, maybe to, encourage them to give it a check out and stuff like that for themselves.
Yeah, so I can just share a little bit of kind of like my experience, since finding Acasma for my own personal life.
Absolutely.
I've had many different traumas and different things that I've experienced in my life. And, I finally just reached this, like, they say everybody reaches their, breaking point, their whatever you want to call it. But I got involved with Acasma and I started to deprogram all this, stuff and really getting to know myself and healing these spaces of me. So many of us carry childhood trauma and all these different things into adulthood. We don't realize it, but when you're able to heal certain things and clear out that bad energy, you make room for new. And I've changed my entire life compared to where it was just 2 years ago is completely different. I feel like I physically look different. I feel different. I've dropped some bad habits that I had. After my mom suddenly passed away in 2019, I was drinking very, very heavily, very bad, like all day long drinking, and I don't drink. I don't, I'm pretty plant-based when it comes to anything like that. And that's it. And I don't take so much as a Tylenol anymore. And, it's just helped me change my life, all my relationships. It's something I never dreamed it could happen, but it has.
I gotta ask, and I'm not trying to get too personal and stuff. I know me and you do know each other like outside of all this prior to the show and everything like that. So I know for a fact that you're in the realm of believing the same kind of thing I am when it comes to the help of medicinal mushrooms. So
yeah.
Like, do you think that also helped in your transition into a lot of this stuff? Because I remember that was something you were kind of experimenting with when we first met.
It was. And it was, definitely something that I had not really experimented with in the past, because I was doing much stupider things then. But yeah, I've never really taken enough to like have like the, I feel like,
well, I know you were more of a
people,
microdoser than a hero doser.
Yes.
I don't suggest you do that alone. I did an 8.5, and I if I'd done that alone, I would have broken things in the house. You can barely move though.
Don't do a hero dose at a comic convention. That's the only recommendation I can give you.
What?
No, I definitely
retarded. Were you doing? You go for retard?
Dude, I was dressed as the Green Arrow, and I had the greatest time at a comic book convention I have ever had in my life because I decided to go.
I did a hero dose and went to a beer fest in Germany late at night.
Oh my gosh. I'm too scared. To even do
not
that.
What I would advise.
Let's go somewhere.
If you're with the right person, you should be.
I was not with the right people.
I was not with the right people.
Not the right people. No. No.
I did get some pretty cool images because I was willing to do in my costume in the streets of Atlanta. I was like, yeah, I mean, but I mean, I've always been kind of an advocate for it. I really believe in the microdosing. I know that was more of the route that you had gone into and stuff. And that I think that in itself can help.
It really just helps open your mind
and help rewire you a little bit.
Yes, it does. There's been scientific proof that it helps, you rewire your brain.
It creates additional neural pathways in your brain. You will never think the same after you experience a few times taking mushrooms, you will never think the same again because it actually creates new neural pathways in your brain.
And just from a personal stance, from knowing you over the past few years and stuff, I can see where I personally can think that maybe that little journey you did take at the time into a little bit of microdosing helped kind of get you to where you are now. You know what I mean? Like it opened your mind up and maybe showed you a little bit more of a different place. Cause I mean, we've all been through some stuff, I'm sure. And, like I said, not trying to get hit too personal or whatever, but I mean, I could tell when we first come across each other, you were in a bit of a troubled space. And
yeah, for sure.
Talking to you today compared to talking to you the day I met you when I was still selling peanuts on the side of the road, I think you've come a long way. Like
I definitely have. I'm much more comfortable in my own skin. I'm not trying to chase, I'm okay with who I am. And for a very long time, I wasn't, because I didn't know who I was. We get so caught up and, especially as a woman, I got married and started having kids very young. So, your whole identity can get wrapped up in something, being a wife or being a mother, or just all the different pressures that society puts on anybody, so then you find yourself in situations where you've got substance abuse or addictions, and it's because you're trying to force yourself to live every day in this role that is not you. And since finally hitting rock bottom, and then having a little bit of microdosing and finding Acasma and just really letting go of all these titles and roles that I thought I had to, play, and just allowing myself to be myself, and knowing that it's okay to be different and to not, it's huge. It's so freeing. The peace that I have now is, there's no price you could put on it.
There's nothing like being able to be your free, authentic self. That's one thing I can cherish about this grand group that I have. Always on adventures with me here is these guys are as authentic as they come. And people think a lot of times that this is just a show too, but no, I have people can vouch for me. I am this in real life. It's just it. There's something about being able to be who you really are, I think, that is more freeing than trying to be something you're not, and there are plenty of people out there that work really hard all day long to be something they're not.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times people, may have this fear of, well, if I'm myself, then, people may not like me. Well, you know what? You'll find your soul tribe. Like when you start being yourself, then that's when you're going to find the people who are going to appreciate you and love you and support you for who you are, and not for this role that you're playing. Baby. So you gotta, you may lose some friends or some people, but you're going to find better ones.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. Remember that as you transition, you will lose people around you because they were never really there. They were there as lessons for you, but they were to be there for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
Most people are not comfortable with at all.
But if you can grasp that and understand that, especially if you can really grasp that you're an eternal being and that your time right now on this earth in this lifetime as who you are right now it's such a blip when you think about like eternity, you know what I mean? So, and when you can look at things that way, or like even things like death, like because I experienced losing my brother at such a young age, I spent most of my life fearing death and fearing losing people. And so I stayed numb and all this stuff because I thought, at least if I'm like high out of my mind, then if something happens to somebody else, I won't feel it. It won't hurt as bad. But that's because I had just this very distorted, you think somebody dies, or they're gone forever. And it's not true. There's just this veil that in our physical form, we can't see everything. It's just like, birds and animals that can see different things that people can. If that makes sense.
No, it does. A lot of times, a lot of people like to just kind of brush it off that, people like myself just have a wild imagination. But the truth about it is, I think there's some things out there that we definitely can't explain or can't see or can't understand. Children, animals, even out of the side of your own eyes, you'll see things that you don't know really have an explanation for. We most recently had one of my favorite medium friends on, Miss Vicky, and she is probably one of the most powerful mediums I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. And she actually messaged me not long after her episode went live and was like, I want to apologize for a couple times when my mic muted. And I was like, I didn't catch that. She was like, yeah. She was like, there were totally spirits here hanging out, and they just weren't vibing with what was going on at the time. And I was just like, it's always something interesting with that, and we there's definitely another dimensional plane level to where we are. And I like to believe that veil is getting thinner, and I think that veil is getting thinner because there are people like yourself, like myself, and other people in this group and in other groups and stuff that are working hard to bring a higher vibration to this next generation of things. As terrible as this sounds, when the final boomers actually gone and Generation X takes over, because that's who's next in line, I guess, technically take over.
The final boomer, huh? Is that what you call it? That should be a title for a movie. The final boomer.
Right.
It's the final boss.
It's like a boss battle.
Well, we might soon get rid of Mitch McConnell, the turtle in chief. That turtle needed to go.
I heard his shell cracked, and they're working really hard to see if they can put it back together.
He fell on the wall of Astoria. Some people were thinking that it was foul play. I hope foul play. I mean, it is the turtle.
I don't know. Like I've made this mention before, and some people are like, "Oh, that seems a little harsh." But like, what? I don't think that 70 and 80-year-old people should be making plans for a future they're not going to be a part of.
Yep. No,
I
should
just
80-year-olds make any decisions on your life? No.
I don't think so, and that's, and again, I know it sounds harsh, but when Gen X officially takes over, it'll be maybe a little bit more of a positive side, because at least for the most part, those guys don't give a fuck. So might loosen up the reins a little bit and be a little more peaceful on the move forward. But I said this with Miss Vicky, and I've said this with a few other guests. Like, I really do think that things are going to keep going, and I think things are going to get into a more positive tone. Like
Absolutely.
our lifetime, our planet, his point in history that's been blinking by sure might seem drab, I think, but I think that the world's going to a more positive place, because we have people that are not only working hard on things like with what you got, but like I talk to people on the show and stuff that are always making just amazing inventions to move
more
forward.
People are waking up too,
more and waking up on a regular basis.
That's the thing. There has to be balance, right? So maybe it feels like all we see is negativity and dark and the nasty, because obviously that's all the media is going to show anyways.
Sure.
And it's obvious out in public even, but there's an equal light. It may not be as prevalent yet, but the more people wake up, the light is going to shine out the darkness.
It is showing, though. I mean, it really is showing, because if you've noticed, like, more people are getting, their news and what's going on in the world in general through social media and podcasts now. Independent journalism is absolutely 100% the way of the future as far as like getting your information. The mainstream media is dead.
Yeah,
it is dead.
The evidence is happening. You can see the ratings. CNN's late ratings have collapsed to the point that the channel literally will probably be completely reset. Half the staff will be. A lot of people have been fired already. But you're seeing it. All of these channels, their ratings are collapsing because nobody wants to listen to propaganda, because they started to. after they realized that the shot was harming people and they continue to support it, they ignore it. Ask the average person in the street. The average person will say that's crap and I took it, and I took it because I was forced to.
Yeah.
And I have no idea the unintended consequences, but you can see it. Everybody in different ways they sign.
Well,
There wasn't that many cardiac issues.
I do.
before.
I will make mention. I do know of a few people that were forced into at least that first one, and they were smart enough to stop at that. And I do recommend getting in contact with our sponsor, Peachy Key Creations. She totally has a tea recommendation that can help expunge some things out of your system if you don't feel like having that kind of stuff in your system anymore.
That's cool.
She's got this blood purifying tea that will literally push bullets out of your body. I know for a fact because Kel, our co-host, has done just that with the blood purifying tea. So it's
hopefully Kel as well.
Kel is very well.
Wow.
Bullet is out of his body, and he is just roughing it right now with things in his son. That's why he's a busy man being a single father. So I always have to give him props for keeping things up. But you guys, if you guys are ever missing him, he does post fairly regularly to his YouTube that is linked over there at unconstitutionalawakening.com in the host section. And he's always got some good insight on Lord knows what. And he's been working hard on some new tracks. DJ Kel is finally coming back. He sent me 2 tracks he's working on, and I'm actually excited for him to release them on SoundCloud here soon. It's just that whole mix of things and the different people from different walks of life, and like you guys were saying, there are people across the board that are waking up, and I personally think there's a difference in woke and awake. Like woke is definitely just something that is propaganda, where people that are awake are the people like Luis is talking about that are just like, no, that's bullshit, bro. Like we don't take part in that. And that is the general.
I'm going to use another
consensus,
example. On top of the mainstream media, like the numbers collapsing and just going away, hopefully, is that last year there was a 1 million or so drop in enrollment for public schools. They withdrew. A million students were withdrawn from the public education system to homeschool them.
I think it's over now 2 million.
Yes, it is over 2 million now.
I mean, if that does not convince you that we are headed in the right direction,
yeah.
I also watched.
That's the silent majority that doesn't vote. That's the sad part.
Yeah.
Well, I get it that there's no candidates. I mean, yeah, Jimbob's part of the silent majority, but I get it if nobody represents you.
I mean,
but on a local elections, those kind of matter.
It does, and
local elections, it doesn't matter.
I don't. In another thing, I just saw this recently, and I wish I could pull up the video. And another thing that the powers that be, whoever controls the country, is scared to death is that strikes. They are. I mean, people are.
They're talking about a general strike in May. So if that goes down, we're all
people are banding together, and they're using social media to put
using Discord, and they're going to use TikTok because the best thing China wants is really the Cultural Revolution to kick off in a bang. And I mean, the thing is, it might be great if the strike happens, because it'll force the government to think, well, we fucked up a few things, and there's easy solutions that the smart people that are in DC know to fix. They know how to fix everything. That's this thing. They know how to fix almost everything. They're actively choosing not to.
Yeah. They really can. I mean,
they can fix homelessness. It takes years, but they can fix it. They can fix the addiction issues by mass producing ibogaine and treating all these people with ibogaine. It's one of the best treatments that exist. It's not perfect, but it is 10 times more effective than any pharmacological or any regular treatment that exists. It's over 90% efficacy. There's almost no drug on earth that has a 90% efficacy,
So-
and ibogaine does.
Let's just, I mean, look at that and just say that, we are headed in the right direction. It's not going to be painless. The right direction is
Yeah.
not going to be
It's-
painless.
That thread is hilarious. The anti-work.
It is,
No.
dude. It's so
Some
funny.
people say some really retarded stuff, but that's what I mean.
But I'm saying though,
Well,
like
they're for entertainment too.
listen, the general strike. I'm sitting here looking at this, and the general strike thing is not only has it grown from outside of the United States, but I've got things that are listing it in people in France, people in Greece, people
Imagine if
in
the
Germany,
entire
all
planet
talking
on
about
May,
doing
in
this.
May. Imagine that. Imagine if like most of the Western world, let's say 100 million people say, you know what?
Well, that's what they're estimating the number to be.
If it's 100 million, trust me, all governments are going to bow down to the people because they're not going to have a choice.
That's what they're estimating the people that are willing to take part right now is in the
I'm willing
over
to take
100
part.
million people are willing to take part in a general strike.
That would be so amazing. I haven't heard about this, but I know
mean,
I believe
that
in
is
art,
going to
that's what it
be a
would take.
big guillotine, man. Let me tell you, that is going to be a big guillotine.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, just think of it this way. And somebody was simply saying, an EMT is paid generally $20 an hour. Why?
Where in Georgia, it's a $12 an hour job.
Oh, yeah, no.
Where are you?
Wow.
Where are you seeing an EMT getting paid $20 an hour?
Here. Yeah, I know.
$20 an hour is not a livable wage in New York City.
Well, that's the whole point I'm trying to get to. The whole concept of minimum of livable wage comes from the dynamic that these mega corporations are not properly taxed. Why aren't they properly taxed? Because they intentionally write loopholes
Yep.
to allow them to escape the grip of the tax. Now, I am all for the citizen to gain wealth. That's the most important thing. We need to readjust the tax base so the corporations at the highest levels get pegged down 100 steps, and then for others to be incentivized back up. The only way to level this off is basically break up those mega corporations. How is Norfolk still operating? How are they operating? How?
Well, how did they get away with only paying a few $1 million to the people of East Palestine, Ohio, when they paid out how many billions to their shareholders?
No. They're going to pay billions. There's
There's
active lawsuits. They're going to play.
In the lawsuits, yeah. But just immediately, why did they pay out billions to their shareholders?
No. It was $25,000.
Yeah. So, yeah, that automatically showed who was more important.
I mean, they're shareholders. You've got companies that have, you've got companies that spend time lobbying the government to, like you said earlier, invade for bananas, or you've got companies. The NRA is probably the best lobbyer for gun laws, and when it comes to a lot of things, and it's just it.
But the NRA, until they defend those that are unlawfully arrested for gun possession, especially in the Black and brown community, they're disingenuous.
The NRA is
a lot of people have said that. Yeah, a lot of people have said that until they start defending those people that were unlawfully arrested when they actually were lawfully carrying arms.
The NRA doesn't mean anything then.
That's what I mean. It's like
it's a sticker for boomers to have on their truck.
Yeah, it's that's
it goes beside their Vietnam vet sticker.
There is other organizations. Oh God, you.
No, that's true.
Korea, bro, Korea.
That's true.
No. You have that one boomer that says, "What's that other war that happened in between?"
Cold.
Grenada.
Oh my God.
Grenada. Grenada.
Oh my God.
I survived Grenada.
Oh my God. Or I survived the cold. I survived the Cold War.
But I like to work on like the tough questions around here. Like, do you put the jelly or the peanut butter on your sandwich first when making a PB&J sandwich? I think these are the important things.
I don't do peanut butter and jelly, so
peanut butter on first.
Many
but when
countries
I make
don't.
Them for my kids, yeah,
I don't think
do
I've
peanut butter first.
I'm not sure if I've ever eaten one.
Many countries
I haven't
don't.
either.
You
make them and you haven't eaten them?
Well, I have 4 children. I'm pregnant with my 5th. So yeah, I've made a shit ton of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. But no, I've never eaten one.
Well,
You've never been tempted. It's like, what the hell does this taste like?
No, not at all. I'm just like,
Luis, you have never
Europe,
eaten a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Neither has she.
Listen, dude, listen. This is a fun fact. This is one of those weird fun facts that I'm full of. Outside of the United States,
I feel like I don't know you now.
Peanut butter and jelly isn't a thing.
Exactly.
And a lot of other countries think it is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, it sounds disgusting.
it doesn't smell good. It doesn't. I just
marmalade on the other
never.
hand, with some toasted bread. That tastes good.
Yes. Now that is good stuff, man.
I actually seen this poor Filipino woman that was going to try peanut butter and jelly for the first time on TikTok the other day, and I don't know if it was on purpose or unintentionally, but she made her peanut butter and jelly with KY jelly.
Oh no!
That was for to go viral.
And she ate
That was
it.
to go viral.
Now,
ate
let
it.
me tell you. I want to clarify.
It was so bad.
I want to clarify something.
That's fake.
I want to clarify something. Peanut butter and jellies are good, like every once in a while.
Yes.
They can quickly become,
unless you're a 6-year-old
repulsive.
boy, then it becomes your frigging meal 3 times a day.
And then it can become repulsive, you know.
Well, I haven't eaten sugar in like a while now, so I
Good.
won't eat
Good for you,
sugar
man.
for a long time.
Yeah, that is awesome. Actually,
But
I wish I could cut out sugar.
But remember,
Completely nothing. I actually
fruit
was eating a
sugar is
barbecue.
different than
No,
sugar.
but no sugar, period. But
you need the fruit sugar. Good for your body.
I was eating some like barbecue sauce. It said sugar free, and then I then look on the side. Something. It has negligible amounts. I'm like,
sugar free is worse
so you
for
literally
you.
committed false advertising.
Sugar free. Any of those fake sweeteners are worse for you than just eating.
I don't
sugar.
want the sweeteners. Period. That's the thing. I don't want the sweeteners. For example, mustard that doesn't have sweeteners.
Yeah.
I don't want the sweeteners. I get it. I get what you're saying, but I don't want even the fake ones. I prefer to not without sucrose. For example.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like fake sweeteners are terrible for you. Like they
were blaming fake sweeteners for causing cardiac problems too. But the study was based off 8 people. But they've been touting it all over the television that that's what's killing people, not
yeah, but all of your diet drinks are filled with aspartame, and that shit literally heats your brain.
What? I've told my mom to stop drinking Diet Coke.
Like, and equate and equal and sweet and low.
Yeah,
those are all garbage too, man. Like those stuff will just destroy. What
was another one? Saccharin.
I'm a fan of actual
Truvia?
raw cane. Raw cane sugar.
Truvia?
Yeah.
But isn't Truvia natural?
See, is it though?
Look it up.
Yeah, they say it.
I believe Truvia is natural.
Like, because I feel that if it's not raw cane sugar, honey, or beet sugar, it's probably not good for you.
Let me verify. Let me.
Because plant-based is its own realm of weird, nasty things that go on. But besides all that, I've had a blast with you tonight, Ash. I think we've had some good conversation going on here. I've of course
gone all over the place.
I of course have all of your links to your store and to where everybody can find you over there on social media and stuff like that if they'd like to catch up with you, or if they would like to
awesome
do some energy healing with you and stuff like that. We make sure we take care of folks and get them pushed out everywhere so that you guys can find her to get back to you. So is there, of course, I'd like to let you plug yourself and tell everybody else where they can find you, of course, too.
Yeah, so I'm on TikTok and Instagram. What you have on the screen right now is my Etsy page, and I actually have since I just started and opened as going public, there's like a 15% discount on there. So that'll be going for at least the next week or two, probably. But yeah, Everything is Acasma.ash, except for my Etsy. It's Acasma with Ashley. But you can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Instagram. You can email me at acasma.ash@gmail. I am grateful to connect with anybody who feels drawn to me and to my energy, and looking to boost into a new way of being and living and creating the life that you've dreamed of, because it's possible.
Yep, absolutely. And like I said, I'll make sure that I have all those links, because we got all those links for you, and even links to get back to that book that the person that taught you how to do things. I've got her book and her YouTube. I'm gonna make sure that I share for everybody else too, to make sure they go give that a check out. Because it's always good to learn some new information.
She's amazing. I love her dearly. I mean, she's not just a teacher and a mentor, but she's a wonderful.
Hey,
she's great. So
no, that's great. And it's good to see that you got such a great connection, with someone like that has helped you so much. So that in itself, I think, speaks volumes. So like, so, of course, I like to go around, as everybody knows, and see what everybody else has got for me before we close out tonight. So, Bandit, I want to go to you first tonight, buddy. What you got for me?
Nothing, man. It's good to be here. Good to be here.
It's always good to
get
man.
Yeah, it's always good to have like a I don't know, it feels like sometimes we just get in such a groove with the show that and then all of a sudden we get something totally different, and it gets us thinking outside of the box, keeps us on our toes.
Something I can't disagree with at all. Like it's definitely a good route to go with a lot of things, I think, too, though. It's
absolutely, you can't put a box on anything anymore. Like, let's be out of the box.
Out of the box is a good way for me.
You can't help it now, man. I mean, if you have any interaction with the general public now, I mean, that's out of the box, man.
That's true. What you got for me, Luis?
We are just frequencies expressing ourselves.
I like.
Yeah.
Of course, you guys, anything that we did talk about that we pulled up this evening, I'll have links for. There's always good links to get back and find all your favorite crew members over on social media. You can find us all together over there at Facebook at Captain Conspiracy and the Freedom Pirates. We're always taking turns sharing some good memes over there. And plus there's links to find us on Instagram and Twitter and everything like that over there at the website, where you'll find all the links for getting back to Ash and getting back to everything we talked about tonight, as well as finding this episode so that you can answer tonight's multiple choice pirate question to get you some more of these sweet Unconstitutional Awakening the podcast stickers that we got going on. We got some new stickers in, and some even more coming in here recently. So I'm excited to continue giving these away, man. Like, I've been having a whole lot of fun with that. We gave away all of the first round of stickers, so let's give away some more. So
yeah.
Tonight's multiple choice pirate question is: pirates believe that pierced ears would improve their A, bravery, B, eyesight, or C, fortune. You guys know where you can answer that over on the website at unconstitutionalawakening.com. So I reckon we're going to weigh anchor and head on out of here tonight. So goodbye, everyone. Thank you.